In this case, the exception is Elizabeth Shoaf. Elizabeth was kidnapped at age 14 on September 6, 2006, by a man named Vincent Fethullah. On the 10th day away from her parents, after Fethullah had fallen asleep, Elizabeth was able to text her mother exactly where she was. Her parents called the police, and Elizabeth was rescued. My mom actually told me about that article when it came out in the news, and I was really surprised, because I really never would have thought of texting as a way of, calling for help, and obviously she did. Even with the internet invented, television is still one of the main distractions in families. Why, you ask? Because it's 24/7 entertainment. So who needs family members? Several teens say they are closer to their favorite television characters than they are to their actual parents. Back in 7th grade, when I wasn't doing so well in school and I checked out, I think I was pretty close. I thought I was closer to my favorite television characters than I were to my parents. But now that I'm older and that I realize I don't need the internet or television to make myself, to treat myself like a real person, I'm a lot closer to my parents and really think I'm way closer to them than I am to any TV character. Several parents believe shows like Gossip Girl and 90210 are bad influences on their children by promoting drug addictions, sexual promiscuity, and theft. And with good reason. Several teens have idols on these shows that think it's cool to steal designer clothes. On the other hand, teens also learn the bad effects. But the children aren't all to blame. Several parents who don't see the need for entertaining their child use the TV as a makeshift babysitter. This way, they can live their lives while their children watch the lives of others. Plus, it's free. Unless you have cable. The exception in this case is Ellen Essig and other families like hers. Ellen says one of the many ways she and her husband first bonded was watching the TV show The X-Files. Today, Ellen says she bonds with her 14-year-old daughter by watching the Fox show Glee. We laugh at the jokes and talk about the different characters and their relationships. She says she likes it because it reminds her of herself and her goal to becoming a professional actress. I like it because I can connect with her on something. Ellen Essig is actually my mom, and we watch Glee every Wednesday, but that's actually not the only show we watch. And I think really it's a way of bonding with my mom. Even though it's through technology, as I said, my mom is the queen of TV. You have no idea. She can basically predict the plot of any TV show out there, and that's why we call her the queen of TV. I was trying to tell her I was the queen of TV. She said I was just the princess. In truth, there is no everlasting solution to technology and its toll on family relations. But there are several ways to do your part to better your relationship with your family. Whether it's turning off all electronics at dinner time or any other form of family bonding, or if it's using technology itself as a method of family bonding. Technology is both a pleasure and a burden, but you can help make it mainly a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara. We've had a number of comments from each of the three directed to that undertow that is taking us all the way into the swamp of technology. Perhaps we could open up our discussion with a question from Professor John Paul.
Sure. I'd be happy to start the conversation off with a question. And it's very simple. Families are fragile institutions. And it can be easy to blame families for problems. How do you see, what kind of policies would you like to see emerge to support and strengthen families? Zara, you mentioned thank you. You mentioned family education classes. That's an interesting idea. Janana I mentioned family education classes, very interesting idea. Zara, you talked about job stress, school stress. What kind of policies would you like to see put into place? And Claire, would you like to see some policies related to technology use? And, I wondered whether you think parents should be on Facebook as well. Thank you.
I personally think that how Zara brought up the work problem, like the hours of working, some offices may have like family day or something like that, so I think that's a good event to bring into the to the workplace, so the families can have that time and they can intermingle with other people who work there. Also, how I brought up with the education system, how there will be family like bonding and all things of that nature. I would like, for that policy, I would like to see just like different activities for the families to come together and like, what is a family? I know no family is perfect, but you can achieve perfection by improving, like taking the steps to improving. That's.
Well, I think, like how I mentioned, how there's a lot of stress factors and everything, and families are fragile, I agree. I think possibly what should be done is that within the family, they should find activities that they can all do together that reduces stress and that they can bond with, possibly. And that's my take on it.
I don't know about policy, but I really do think that parents and families should turn off all electronics and things like that. Like I said in my paper, at dinner time or anytime you're really with the family having a conversation, because it is a distraction, and I don't think the internet's all to blame, but I think it's one of the things that's a main problem. And for your question, if parents should be on Facebook, both of my parents have Facebook. I'm not friends with them though. Friends with my friends' parents.
Our phone is the same way.
But I mean, honestly, I think Facebook is for a place for your friends and who you hang out with, and really just to be sociable. And I think I'd rather have a face-to-face conversation with my parents than talk online or anything like that. But yeah.
I was just thinking when you were commenting, would it be possible for the youth to bridge for the adults the use of the internet? How many here in this audience learned everything they learned from somebody younger than you about the internet? Raise your hands.
I'm sorry, the question was, how many of you present learned what you learned on using the internet from somebody younger than you? I mean, what I'm thinking about is my mother-in-law who's in her 90s, and every time she telephones to find out about a bill or something, she gets a recording to tell her to go to www something. Well, I think that there could be a mutual learning experience between youth and the older adults who can't use the internet, both learning and both being sort of guided to the beneficial aspects of the internet. Any other questions that you would like to direct to? Yes, Al.
I'll try to just speak aloud. As an adult now, I feel like the three most important skills that I needed in my adult life, including I did not learn in school. So I'm wondering if you think it's a good idea to provide training in those issues in school, and those issues or areas being time management, financial management, and relationship management.
I'm a junior in high school now. I'm taking many AP classes, and I think time management, I'm still working on it, but I think time management is a very important role in anybody's life, from a high schooler to an adult. So I think your family should implement that in some way. You should learn that from your parents or from a teacher or something. But I think school itself, you should learn. It helps you learn that responsibility of time management.
I agree with her. I'm trying. About the time management and about financial management. Everything I know about financial management, I've pretty much been taught by my mother and father, and they've been like role models in that. So I think family should be able to help you with that, and then certain classes in school, I think, would be able to do that. But
On the financial management, I really do think that parents and families should, you should learn about it in your family. Me and my mom have made a deal, no more purses for the rest of the year. But on the time management, and I forgot the other management, sorry. Relations. Thank you. There's a class at my school that you have to take. I go to early college high school, so before you can actually go to the college, you have to take a class called BCIS, which is Business, Computer, Information Systems. Yes, and basically every class we learn something, ways to create time management, and we're learning about resumes right now. Basically things that can get you a good job and things you really need to learn to be an adult.
I want to ask a question about our family unfriendly society. We're very hard at that, and it makes it much harder to manage things. You talk about managing things from within the family. I'm talking about at the family in our society. It makes it much harder to manage things inside the family. Our society forces adults to work more hours, more days a year than any other advanced industrialized nation. I'll say it again. Our society forces families to work longer hours, more days a week than any other advanced industrialized nation. We are the only advanced industrialized nation that has no federally mandated forced paid vacation. In Germany today, you get 6 weeks of paid vacation, and that's federally mandated. In France today, you get 4 weeks of paid vacation, and that's federally mandated. We are a very mean society and make it very tough for families inside the way we are mismanaging families. Very hard for those families who are trying to manage our society from within themselves. Do your parents work too much?
that's why my father's not here. He's our.
My mother had a job where she worked too much, but we made not really a pact, but she got a new job, and now she's really happy. She goes to work every day, 8:30, and she gets to pick me up from school at 4:30 every day, and I think that makes her really happy. She's told me, unless she's lying. And I really like it. I like riding home with her. Because before that, never really saw my mom that much, and I honestly had never been picked up. Before this year, I've never really had my mom pick me up. It's always been daycares after school. All through middle school, we paid someone to pick me up from school. So I'm really enjoying the fact that I get to be picked up by my mother for the first time.
We have 2 more speakers, and we are running a bit late on time. So I would like to introduce the next speaker, Leland Swanson, who is a student at Houston's Harmony School of Excellence also. I think probably the best thing to do is just, can you hold this while we... Yeah, that's still...
Hello there. Well, I guess a little background might be helpful. I had all these wonderful subtopics to touch on in my paper. I didn't really have much trouble finding which one to do because I did them all. Well, a little bit later I refurbished my paper, skipping out on some parts, going into more details on others. So I'd like to open up with a question. What makes up a family? Is it the blood running through the members' veins? Or is it the emotional and mental links that bind everyone together?